Most agents are focused so much on creating more income and they're not creating enough cash flow. So today's hack, and this came about because in our team meeting today, I was talking to everybody about how you can create cash flow. And I was like, dude, let's record this because this is perfect. So let me go through what I taught them this morning and show you how you can create cash flow in two very specific ways using this simple strategy. And we're going to talk about what to cut and what to add so you can actually increase cash flow, because cash flow is king. This is what we want. We want cash flow in the business. So let's get into this. Often I find people get overwhelmed with what to do. So I'm going to give you a simple system that you can implement in order to cut in the household and increase in the business. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to pull the last 3 months of bank statements, and I want you to get out a trusty red marker. There's a red marker, and in that household, statement, I want you to literally highlight all the things that you know are just wasteful. So what could be some of those things? Well, maybe, speaking from experience and as an example, maybe you're paying for a storage unit that you've been paying on for the last 3 years that you haven't visited in 3 years. And you're like, what's in that storage unit? Real life example. For us, we had a storage unit that was costing us $250 a month, which is like insane. I didn't even know what was in that storage unit, right? Long story, had to do with my wife flipping furniture, her mom getting sick, and us just putting stuff in there and then forgetting it. And every month, $250 would hit that account. And I was always like, man, I got to get rid of that. Got to get rid of that. Got to get rid of that. But life gets in the way and we're busy and we have other responsibilities. And so it just kept siphoning off $250 a month. So when you pull those 3 months of statements, find your storage unit that you're just being wasteful on and prioritize it as something that you're going to get rid of. Maybe it is a subscription that you haven't used in a long time. This morning, somebody was talking about some fashion thing that they had a subscription for that I think has to do with clothes fitting. I don't even know. But maybe it's one of those things. And it's just siphoning money, right? It is robbing you of cash flow. It's a leak. Just think of it as a leak. What is the leak in your household business that you just need to cut? Now, what you might find when you go through this exercise is that it's like $400 a month that you could very quickly increase the net overall cash flow to your household by cutting. So you're actually adding through subtraction. And here's what's wild. You have to make like $550 in earned income in order to really net that 400. So it's like as if you made $550 in positive cash flow, and people don't wrap their mind around that, right? They're always so busy on focusing on making more income when they could actually increase their cash flow through subtraction. So I want you to do that today. Do not delay. Okay, so let's then do the same exercise on the business side. What is it in the business side of the business that is essentially creating a leaky boat in the business? Well, it could be a person, unfortunately, that is not getting the ROI that you're looking for. It could be a service. Maybe Zillow isn't providing you that ROI. An AI subscription that you signed up for that you just haven't done anything with in a while, and you've decided that you've locked in another one, right? Maybe you signed up for ChatGPT, and now you're really big into Claude, but you're paying for both, and you're really you've migrated everything over to Claude. You should probably get rid of that ChatGPT subscription. So let's fix these leaks. So we are going to add money through subtraction, and just do 3. And every month I want you to go through this exercise. pull 3 months, or once you get into the rhythm, like you could pull monthly and just say, is there anything else? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? This is like weeding your garden. Okay, let's talk about adding, right? How do we add more money both into the household and into your business? Well, the reality is you're going to have to lead this one on the business side, right? The business side is going to feed the household side, right? And let's go through the top 3 things that you could do to increase cash flow into the household. And here are some basic things that I see that are incredibly easy to do, and yet most agents don't do them. So number 1, most agents, not you, but most, don't have a great, what we call 36 touch system, right? That is really just a nurture, a database. Okay, so let me tell you ours. Ours is comprised of 4 monthly emails. And you might be saying, 4? Yes, 1 a week. Listen, if you add value in those emails, people will read them and they will want them. So what is a value? There's 4 ways to create value. You can help people make money. You can help people save money. You can help people get smarter, and you're going to entertain them. You're going to do one of those 4 things, or you can do all 4 of them in that email. That system, by the way, this money-making system, this one here doubled my income when I implemented this system. This was like 15 years ago. Such low-hanging fruit to make a lot of money. Now, there's more to our 36 touch nurture system than that. That's not what this is about. But that one system will literally double your income, which if you are living a profit first life, we'll go through that because I think that's an important discussion, will add more money to your household. Okay. So what do I mean by a profit first life? So many business owners we are so passionate and in love with our business, and we like all think we want to grow. And so we sometimes could sacrifice what we would take home in order to grow more. And I do think that there is a certain level of that you need to do as you're making investments in people and you're making investments in systems. But you need to have enough oxygen in your own bank account. And I often see that many agents they don't pay themselves first. So Michael Michalowicz wrote a book called Profit First. And Profit First is just a pretty simple idea. It's like, what if we made profit the priority? Duh. It's like, okay, but how do we make profit the priority on purpose? That's the interesting question. Okay, so what does traditional accounting teach us? It says, well, first, it's like all your revenue that comes in minus your cost of sale, minus your expenses, leaves you profit. But profit in that equation is the leftovers. What if you flipped that, right? And instead, you said, what if we take out profit first, and then we forced the business to live off of everything else? Well, that solves a lot of things for the entrepreneur. 1, it constricts the amount that they're going to spend, which is an important thing because those that are constantly growing businesses, they'll just throw money at the problem to solve the problem or to generate more revenue. And you've got to be conscious of making sure that you put oxygen in your own bank account. So this having a profit first business, and by the way, we run it in our household the same way, living a profit first life will help you create more cash flow, which is what you want, right? That's the whole goal. Okay, so let me give you another simple system that you could add to your business that will help increase revenue. And that is a zone system. And zone is just a framework that I created probably about a decade ago to help focus my thinking on the things that mattered. So what does it stand for? Zero in on your target market, own the mind share of your market, nurture and grow your database, and expand your influence. That is what zone means. It is a fancy way to say, pick your avatar and then do everything you possibly can to get into their brain through prospecting, networking, and marketing. So let me give you a real world example of that. You could say, I want to serve business owners in my local community. That is my target avatar. Why? Because business owners buy multiple properties. And if they don't, they should. Because I could show them how to lower their taxable income by owning real estate. So then I'm going to do everything I can to get in front of that target prospect. So when you go small, you actually build a really big world, because that person will then seek you out as the expert. So this is how you actually increase more income into your business through the power of focus, right? You've heard a lot of people talk about this. They'll say, hey, who's your target prospect? Because if everybody's your target prospect, nobody is. So you've got to pick who you want to be the superhero to. That's Dan Sullivan's language, which I absolutely love. That helps cement the idea in my mind. Who did I want to be the superhero to? So I ask you, who do you want to be the superhero to? Because the sooner you can get niche focused that way, the sooner you'll create more income and cash flow, ultimately cash flow into the household. So hopefully that's helpful. I go into zone in way more detail in other videos. Okay, what's a third way to create a simple system to create more cash flow in the business? What we have found is just by tracking. If you don't know how much activity it takes to create income, you're literally flying blind. It's like not knowing if you have enough gas in the airplane to get to where you want to go. Like, you need to understand the money math. And we have videos, we'll put links below to show you the money math of the business. But a basic scoreboard, I promise you, a basic scoreboard will add more cash flow to your business and to your household. So that's it. A simple framework where you're prioritizing 3 things. And in fact, if you wanted to make it even simpler, you just say, what's the one thing that I could do today where I'm going to cut an expense in my household, cut an expense in my business, add a system, one simple system that will double my business today. And I guarantee you it is that nurture system. If you don't have one, that's it, right? What's the one thing that I could do today that will really move the needle forward? And I'm just going to draw a line here so that these can come later, but just focus on one. There's so much power in just focusing on one thing at a time. Okay, so let's just go back. 1 in the household, 1 in the business, that you're going to cut in each of these. Okay, so what's the one thing in the household you're going to cut? What's the one thing in the business you're going to cut? And then what's the one thing in the household that you're going to do to add more income? Possibly starting to really research and reading and implementing a profit first in the household and in the business. If you do that, you're going to increase your cash flow, increase your wealth, decrease your stress, and finally really feel like you're controlling money. So either you learn to control money or money will control you. So hopefully this basic framework has helped you and is giving you some things to think about today, but just don't think. The goal is for you to take action. That's why I want you to focus on one of them and then just go take action. So make it happen. If you've taken action on this after you watched the video, please comment below. Let me know what you took action on, because together we all get better.